Well, as we have reported, the House is set to vote Thursday on Ryan Care, but one of the bill's chief critics is Senator Rand Paul. He doesn't believe House Republicans have the votes to pass the legislation.
I've been having discussions with the House Freedom Caucus, and I think they have the 21 votes to stop this. We need to have a separate repeal and replace that if you try to stick Paul Ryan's replacement on repeal, conservatives just aren't going to bite. We're for repeal, but we're really not for Paul Ryan's Obamacare light bill.
And Senator Rand Paul, by the way, will be with us here tomorrow evening to take up those issues. President Trump just moments ago said he's looking forward to working with Senator Paul to get Ryan Care passed. Joining me, Fox News contributor Mercedes Schlapp and Mike Gallagher, host of the Mike Gallagher radio show on the Salem Radio Network. Good to have you both on the broadcast. Mercedes, Rand Paul says no. President Trump says get with him and let's take the legislation forward. Who's going to prevail?
That's a tough call, Lou. I'm going to have to go with President Trump. But seriously, I think his bigger issue, I do think that they're going to end up passing this in the House. Right now, we've seen that the Freedom Caucus has come out, said they're not going to vote as a bloc. Basically, Mark Meadows coming out saying, you all, congressmen, go out and represent your constituents. So that has kind of allowed President Trump and Speaker Ryan that leverage to get this repeal and replace done in the House. The Senate is going to be the obstacle. We just saw this meeting that happened with the conservative senators and Trump, the Trump administration, and the conservative senators were very disappointed with how it was moving forward. So unless there's going to be some significant changes or amendments to the bill, and that could come along in the Senate side, it's going to be a tough battle, but I think that if anyone can negotiate the deal, it's President Trump.
Well, that's just it. I mean, and that's what's so fascinating, Lou. This is what's going on. Despite this clown show today and this three-ring circus, meanwhile, the legislative process is continuing along. President Trump's going to get...
We're just talking about the Rogers and Comey hearing,
yeah,
right?
I
just wanted to narrow that
down. Despite that...
Capitol Hill's got a lot of targets.
There are a lot. It's a target-rich environment, but there's a legislative process that's still chugging along. The president's going to get his pick for the Supreme Court. I do believe that the president's going to negotiate, you call it Ryan Care, but the American Health Care Act.
Well, it used to be Obamacare. That's dying. We're taking it to Ryan Care right now, and as soon as the president has it moving forward to the Senate, we can start talking about it being Trump care.
Sure, and it will be. I mean, but that's these two parallel courses that are going on. The media hyperventilating over Russia, and yet real stuff being done in Washington, D.C.
Can you believe, if you're Vladimir Putin, Mercedes, think about this. You've taken Crimea, you annexed the thing. You have been carrying out operations in eastern Ukraine. You're doing exactly what you want in Syria. And you turn on American television, and what is the discussion about whether or not there was collusion between a candidate who, by the way, wasn't even expected to win the race, and Russia. I mean, the Russians have got to think that all of America's lost its mind.
I mean, Putin must be feeling like he's the most popular man in reality TV, for crying out loud. I think that it's becoming so difficult to try to decipher actually the facts from the non-facts, and I think that FBI James Comey really I know he has this investigation going on, but there has to come to a point that there needs to be conclusions to this and facts, and I think Comey is just so disliked by both sides of the aisle that it's hard. He's almost becoming unbelievable.
We do have a fact. We know that the FBI director said, now I'm allowed to tell you that we're investigating whether there's a collusion between the Russians and the Trump campaign, but I'm not allowed to tell you whether or not we're investigating a felony leak. I mean, again, Putin's probably sitting there saying, what? That's the FBI director? This is hard. I mean, it's incredible.
It is. And at the same time, Comey admitted that there is no evidence of collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign and its...
Lou, I kid you not. The few moments I turned away today from Fox Business Network, I watched...
that was a big mistake.
Oh, it was, because I watched a network reporter look into the camera because the anchor said, well, why would the director of the FBI make that distinction? Why would he say and the guy looked in the camera and said, well, that's because there's such public interest in the Trump-Russia story that he felt compelled, with a straight face, like there's no public interest in felony leaks, you know, that could be punishable by 10 years in prison.
Well, Mike and Lou, the other point is the fact that you know that the Clinton campaign, many of these Democrat top campaign donors have very close links to the Russians. I mean, you want to talk about the Clinton Foundation receiving millions of dollars from Russian officials? Let's be real.
Yeah, you're watching $145 million change hands, and and actually the transfer of ownership of 20% of U.S.
Or the Hillary campaign's chief brother, who's a registered foreign lobbyist who represents Russia's biggest bank. No, there's nothing to see there.
Nothing to see there.
How much did Bubba make on those speeches while his wife was Secretary of State? I mean, the list goes on. It is. I mean, this is where we can make fun of it. The fact of the matter is, none of the relevant agencies can rationalize their conduct or misconduct during the whole episode, except perhaps the leader of the FBI, who's James Comey. And he has just an instinct about when things should be investigated, when they shouldn't, you know, what he can say. It's all good.
Twilight Zone.
Absolutely. Mike Gallagher, Mercedes Schlapp, thank you both. Always great to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks.